Rich, fire away.
Yeah, just day two, just the same as yesterday, just kind of going over fundamentals. How did you move on to stuff?
No, day two was probably not quite what a normal full speed practice is going to be. I wanted to use the first 2 days to kind of acclimate us, even though I think we're in really good shape, and I think Coach Matus and the staff did an awesome job. I think playing football again is different. Last year I made the mistake. I think we went out too hard early. So these two practices were a little bit shorter, and we'll start to ramp them up as we go.
When do you go to pads and maybe an inter-squad scrimmage?
Probably a week from now we'll scrimmage. We're going to build up. So today we were just in helmets. We'll build up to uppers, and then after a few days in uppers with the new rules, we'll get our pads on. We got a ways to go for that still. But we can get a lot accomplished without pads on, and we will.
And with a guy like Dennis in the fold, that could really help. You know, that this kind of experience could make for a more competitive scrimmage when you do have them.
Oh, there's no doubt. It makes practice very competitive. You got two guys that can play the position. So when Dennis is up with the twos against really our two defense, they're getting a guy who could probably start on a lot of teams. So it definitely gets us better. And there's going to be a time where we're going to call his number and we'll be confident that he'll get in and do what he's always done, just like he did in the Clemson game, just like he did in the game he started last year when he threw for 500 yards. So he'll be ready, and we're going to count on him.
Okay. Let's talk about Coach Applebaum, what he's doing with the line right now, with all that experience. How does he make that line even better?
Well, I think, Coach Applebaum has a ton of experience. He was in the National Football League for a while. He was an offensive coordinator, he was an offensive line coach, just at smaller schools in college, which there's some coaches in smaller schools that are better coaches than bigger schools. But he has a really good relationship with those guys. The one thing that Coach Applebaum does such a good job, he coaches them really hard. And I think that's a position you have to coach them hard, because I think it's one of the hardest to coach, and it's very demanding, and we're going to go as they do. At the same time, again, he's got such a good relationship with those players, and they have a lot of respect for him. He sees the big picture, Rich. He's not just this O-line guy that is just a run game. He understands protection. He understands throwing the ball down the field. He's the type of guy who will eventually be an offensive coordinator again, and I think that we're lucky to have that on our staff.
Okay, last question. Just how are the edge rushers? I mean, they finished good last year.
Getting better. I think Sheeta yesterday, he looks bigger. He looks faster. Barlow, the same thing. Obviously, Valdez, there's no one who's going to work as hard as that guy. Got a couple of young guys who showed some flashes, couple other guys, but it's really good to see Sheeta, Barlow, Marcus, those guys coming out. We need them. Yeah. We have to rush the quarterback better than we did last year. We have to get off the field on third down. They have to win their one-on-ones. So Coach Vince is awesome. I mean, you go out there and watch, he probably lost about 10 pounds today in the heat, the way he runs around, yells, and screams.
Good. With the kind of athletic quarterbacks you're going to be coming for, like Malik Cunningham, those kind of quarterbacks, those guys are invaluable. Yeah,
they are invaluable. They got to be able to run down a guy like Malik and some of the other quarterbacks that we play. So they have to have the speed to stop their feet, chase a quarterback down, and then on third down, they got to be able to catch them. We got to have fast guys. We have to get faster on defense, and that's what we're stressing.
Anybody else?
Coach, how important is pacing for you this early in camp, both mentally and physically, in terms of what you expect of your players physically and your install?
Well, the install is going to go fast. There is no pacing the install, and I told the guys that today. This isn't spring ball where we're practicing every third day. We got to get everything in. We have to. 6-7 days, our install's got to be done. And then we got to see what we really want to major in, and we got to attack it. As far as the pace of practice, that's kind of what I just talked about. I don't think you can come out and practice as hard as you're going to 6 days from now when they're acclimated to playing the game of football, which is totally different than running and training and lifting. Different movements, you got your helmet on, you got to get used to that. So I'm going to do a better job of pacing that, slowing it down, and then I'll ramp it up when I need to. But we're going to have certain days where it looks like a big jog through, and then we're going to ramp it up. And then maybe after 2 more days, it's going to look like a jog through. But mentally, we need to push them with the playbook, but we got to take care of it. So I want to be fresh. I told the staff, I want to be as fast week 1 as we are the day we get into training camp. And that's very important to me. And I've been on certain teams where that's not the case. It's not, I don't just want to beat them into the ground and look like a tired football team. I want to be fresh and fast. We have to. The ACC is very fast, and we need to play faster this year.
Obviously, you're going to replace some key guys in your front seven. Talk a little bit about the linebackers. You're going to replace Richardson, McDuffie. Who are some guys you guys are going to be leaning on to step up and fill those roles?
Yeah, you know, there's really good competition in there right now. And I think the guys have done a good job. De Palma, IGM, the transfer from Temple. We got some young guys mixing in there. I think it's a really good, smart group of guys. Cam Arnold is a guy that has looked really good in spring. We moved him from strong safety to linebacker. He gives us a very athletic guy. He's up to about 228. So between Cam, Vinny, IGM, Bryce, Danucci, Hugh Davis, Spiraccio, I know I'm listing a bunch of guys, but whoever looks best earliest in camp and is the most productive will play. And if we have to play and rotate multiple guys, we will. In different packages, first, second down, third down, base, sub, nickel, dime, we'll get guys on the field.
And the tight end position, obviously losing Hunter Long, that's a big void for you guys, but you're going to be looking for guys to step up at tight end as well. Who are some of the guys that we should be watching for as camp continues to go on here as being potential candidates to replace Hunter?
Yeah, we miss Hunter, and see he's making some pretty good plays down in Miami. Joey Luchetti's back. To me, he brings a toughness in the run game and in the pass game, an attitude. I think we missed that last year. Witter really came on late last year. He made a couple big catches. It looked like he was right back at it. Trey Berry is a guy that transferred in. He's enormous, extremely long, and he is very hard to cover. So he's learning how we do things. He's learning the playbook. Then you got some young guys, Charlie Gordonier and Hans Lewis. You know, Charlie's a good athlete. Hans is really good in line. So we got guys, and we got to coach them up and make sure they're ready to go. We're going to throw the ball to the tight end. So those guys have to be ready.
All right, final question. As far as your transfers, obviously you guys have used the transfer portal to bring in some talented guys that helped your football team. You mentioned Trey Berry. Who are some other guys that you're going to be counting on to step up and compete to potentially start that have transferred in?
Yeah, every transfer we brought in, I'm counting on, and to compete. Now, whether or not they start, they have to go win the job. That's Trey. It's IGM. It's Chris Banks. It's Alex Sinkfield. It's I don't know who else I'm missing there. Probably there are a few guys. It's Jaden Woodby. I mean, it's ramping up the competition. I said it in spring. We're a competitive team. Our guys really are competitive. We don't have enough competition on this roster to push people. And that's what we need to build. The more competition you have in anything you do in life, people are going to rise or people are going to crumble. And that's what I want to see around here. I want competition at every single position. And I don't want to live in the portal. I don't. And you'll see that with the amount of kids, the high school players we're going to recruit. But in the places we need to fill the competition and some starters, we went out and got some guys. And we'll see who comes out on top as training camp gets going.
Thanks.
All right. All right, guys. Thanks for coming.